So, you've built your business from the ground up. You've poured your heart and soul into it. But have you thought about your final payday? Selling your business is often the biggest financial event in an entrepreneur's life. So, if you've ever wondered how to get the absolute best price when you finally cash out, well, this is the playbook for you. Check out this number. Every single day in the US, 10,000 baby boomers hit retirement age. Now, this wasn't just some interesting statistic. It's an economic earthquake. And what that means for you, if you're an entrepreneur who's thinking about selling, is that we are on the verge of one of the biggest opportunities in business history. All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about this massive wealth transfer that's happening right now. Then, we'll get into the language of valuation. You got to speak the lingo, right? After that, we'll look at some real numbers. What's your business actually worth? Then, the fun part, how to boost that number. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with planning your big exit. Let's kick things off with the big picture. We are smack in the middle of a historic transfer of wealth. And trust me, if you own a business right now, you are sitting in a very, very good spot. The scale of this whole thing is just mind-blowing. So get this, baby boomers own a staggering 40% of all small to medium businesses in the US. We're talking 12 million businesses. And the crucial part, a huge chunk of those owners are getting ready to hang it up and sell. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Up to 9 million businesses are for sale right now. Now, yeah, that means there's a ton of competition out there, but it also means there's this huge pool of buyers who are just hungry for a great business to invest in. So the whole game really is making sure your business is the one that they just can't walk away from. So how do you do that? How do you make your business irresistible? Well, you have to speak the language that buyers and investors understand. And that language is all about valuation. It's not some kind of dark art, it's a formula. And right now, we're going to crack it wide open. You know, you can get lost in all these complicated spreadsheets and fancy jargon, but forget all that for a second. Because 95% of the time, the entire negotiation, the whole deal, it all boils down to one key metric. And here it is, EBITDA. It sounds complicated, I know, but it's really not. It stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. But look, just think of it this way. It's the purest measure of how much cash your business is actually spitting out. So if your pizzeria made $100,000 in profit, you'd add back the stuff you paid in interest, your taxes, and those non-cash things like the wear and tear on your ovens. Suddenly your EBITDA might be, say, $120K. That's the number buyers are obsessed with. The final price you get is almost always just a multiple of that one number. Okay, so if the whole formula is EBITDA times a multiple, the big question is, what's the multiple for your business, right? Let's dive in and look at some real-world numbers. All right, for what you might call Main Street businesses, you can see the multiples are all over the place. A pizzeria or a deli might get valued at, say, 1.5 to 2 times its net profit. But then look at something with more predictable cash flow, something more automated, like a laundromat or a car wash. Those can pull in a much higher multiple, maybe 4 to 6 times EBITDA. See the pattern? Buyers pay a big premium for stability and predictability. And it gets even more interesting when we look at other types of businesses. A software company, a SaaS business with that sweet, sweet recurring revenue, whoa, you could be looking at a multiple of 5 to 10 times EBITDA, maybe even more. A solid home services company could be anywhere from 3 to 8. It all comes back to the same idea. The more predictable and scalable your future cash flow is, the higher that multiple is going to be. Okay, so knowing your multiple is one thing, but increasing it, that's where you make the life-changing money. So let's talk strategy. Let's get into the things you can do to convince a buyer that your business is worth that premium price tag. Okay, rule number 1, and this is non-negotiable. Trust equals value. When a buyer opens your books, they have to see a clean, simple story. If they see messy financials, personal expenses mixed in with business costs, all they see are red flags. That screams risk, and risk will kill your multiple every single time. Want a pro tip? A real game changer? Think about offering seller financing. Now, this can be a massive win-win. For the buyer, it means they can get into the deal with less cash up front. For you, the seller, you can often get a higher price, a better multiple. And here's the kicker. It sends this incredibly powerful signal that you have so much confidence in the future of the business that you're willing to bet on it yourself. This one is huge. A buyer isn't looking to buy themselves a job. They're looking to buy a system, an asset. So ask yourself, are you working in your business or on your business? If the whole operation falls apart the second you go on vacation,
that's not very valuable to a buyer. But if you've built systems, if you've built a team, if the business can run without you, now that is something an acquirer will pay top dollar for.
All right, we're getting close to the finish line. But honestly, this is where the most critical decisions get made. A great sale doesn't just happen by accident. It's the result of really deliberate, careful planning.
Look, you wouldn't play in the Super Bowl without a coach, right? So don't try to sell your business all by yourself. You need to build your A-team. That means a great broker who lives and breathes your industry and a sharp accountant who can structure the deal to save you a fortune in taxes. But just as important, you need a personal game plan. You have to ask yourself that big question, what am I going to do the day after the sale? Having a clear answer, whether it's hitting the beach or starting your next big thing, gives you so much clarity and so much leverage when you're negotiating.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about money, is it? It's about your legacy. I mean, this quote really says it all. Your business is your baby. You poured everything into it. So finding a buyer who not only writes a fat check, but also genuinely respects what you've built, well, that's the key to an exit that feels great in your bank account and in your heart.
So we'll leave you with this one thought. After going through this whole playbook, what's the one thing, the single tangible action you can take tomorrow to make your business more sellable? Whether it's finally cleaning up your books, writing down a key process, or just thinking about a new way to grow, what's that one thing that will make your business more valuable for that final payday?